You cannot win an argument with your husband, and he can't win an argument with his wife. Not unless he wants to defeat her.
He defeats himself.
Well, he lives with a defeated woman. That's not helpful.
And you guys are one. If you defeat her, you defeat yourself.
Not least because now you're living with someone who's defeated and bitter. You can't stomp around and insist that you were right. So imagine that one person in the couple is better at verbal disputes than the other.
Yeah. You're just good at your skill of talking.
So one of the things you want to do, if you happen to be the person who's better at making verbal arguments, if your wife has a problem with you, you want to help her make her argument, just on the off chance that she's got something to say, because maybe she's right. It's going to be in her interest to straighten you out. It would be in your interest to listen. That's part of loving your enemy. That's part of giving the devil his due. You want to find out so you don't have to bring the trouble forward.
He is a very smart man. I don't know if I agree with his style of dress. You see that outfit? Unique,
that's funny.
Unique.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point of it is, you don't want to win an argument, not only with your wife, with anybody. So let's expand on that idea. What about a teacher? A teacher has to listen to the student because the student might be right? No. The student will never be right. The teacher always knows better and more. Can the teacher therefore force his opinion on the student? Make the student feel stupid? Defeated? That's a bad teacher. So wanting to be right is a problem in every relationship, not only in a marriage. In fact, it's a problem even if you're not in a relationship. Wanting to be right is one of those weaknesses that we hope to outgrow as we mature. Every child is absolutely convinced that he's right about everything. It's mine. It's mine. No, it's not yours. It's mine. You don't outgrow that. You're in big trouble. So the need to be right is wrong. You don't need to be right. You need to get it right. In other words, there is right and there is wrong. Do you know which is which? Not are you right? That's like somebody once asked me, so are you kosher? I said, am I kosher? Is what I eat kosher? I'm not on the food list. What is it called? The food chain.
Food chain, yeah.
I'm not part of the food chain. I don't have to be kosher.
Yeah.
So I don't have to be right. But what I do has to be right. What I say has to be right. So is it right? If I say something to you and you say, is that right? Is that true? You're not asking about me. You're asking about it. Is it true? Are you true? No, you're not.
But Rabbi, what about when you're really certain that something is true? For example, a lot of people are getting frustrated in this whole Israel conversation. They know this belongs to the Jewish people, and they're getting so frustrated with other people. How do you avoid getting? And I think you do this remarkably well in conversation with people and in discussions and debates, where you don't. I think, as you once described it to me, you don't beat people up with the truth. And if you're really sure that is the truth, and how do you avoid not getting upset about people's different opinions when you think they are just so wrong? You
can get frustrated and impatient. Again, the same question, again, the same argument, again, the same thing. Like, it's getting a little wearisome. But on the contrary, if you're really sure that it is true, you don't become defensive and you don't become offensive because you're secure. You know it's true. Some people don't know it's true. Okay, tomorrow they'll find out. But if you're not absolutely sure that it's true, then you feel like you have to be the defender of truth. And you become a dangerous person.
So there needs to be an understanding, in the end, truth will out.
Right. If you have to force everyone to convert to your religion, you obviously are not so secure with your religion. And a disagreement makes you feel very apologetic or threatened. So the only way to remain rational is to know that what you're saying is true. So you don't have to save the ship. The ship is fine. You don't have to save God from the atheists.
And in regard to a context of marriage, let's say you're having a debate with your partner and you really believe something is the case and they're just not seeing it.
They'll see it tomorrow.
Right.
So I can try to make it obvious. I can make the argument, but I'm not doing it out of desperation. I'm not terrified that what I think is true may be denied. Not in the long run. If it's true, everyone will discover it on their own. Look, nobody forced me to believe what I believe. I came to it because it's true. Well, everybody else will come to it too. With my own children and family, I get a little impatient, but that's not the same as threatened.
Do you think this fear of me having to be the warrior for truth, even in parts of the religious Jewish community, can inform overly fearful decision making, overly anxious sociological principles because they're just scared of, if you get the slightest influence to the outside world or a differing opinion or the internet, then it's all going to collapse, and it's so insecure, right?
Yeah. All fanaticism comes from insecurity. All dogma comes from insecurity. When you know it's right, you don't need extremes. You certainly don't need violence.
Yeah.
Make your point.
Yeah.
So as soon as you threaten violence, you've admitted defeat.
Yeah.
I can't argue with you. I can't convince you. So I'm just going to have to beat you up.
Yeah. And they even say that when people get media training to debate on Israel, so they said the last thing you must do is lose your cool. Then you've lost.
And you lose your cool mostly because you have your own subtle doubts. And when those doubts are brought to the surface, you panic.
Yeah. How do those doubts get erased?
If your knowledge is insufficient, Jews believe that there's only one God and only one Torah. But then you hear Christians saying, but there's a New Testament, there's a new covenant, there's a new... And you say, that's not what I was taught. Okay, so who's right? You were taught, but you're not convinced. You believe it, but you can't explain it. Leaves you feeling vulnerable. Maybe I am wrong. So, as a nation, we've become somewhat uncertain about ourselves, whether we even have a right to exist, because we've been told over and over, generation after generation, you have no right to exist. People didn't actually use that word. In every country, in every generation, we were told you have no right to be here. So we went someplace else. And when we got there, we were told, no, you have no right to be here. So eventually we came to the free world. And we weren't told you can't be here until last week. All of a sudden, Jews on campus are told you can't be here.
Yeah.
So we're back to that. So we decide in 1948, fine. If we can't be in anybody else's country, let's just go back to our country. And what are we being told? No, you can't be here. So basically, what we're being told, you can't be, period. If you're the chosen people, go to heaven. You don't belong on earth. What's our answer to that? But we're a democracy. What? It's such an irrelevant statement.
Yeah.
It's laughable. We're the only democracy. You can't be here. Don't you understand simple English? What's our answer? Our answer is we don't belong on earth, but we are the last hope for earth. No, we are not one of the students at your university, but we should be your teachers at the university. So the question is not where do we belong? The question is what is our mission? We don't belong in any one particular land, but we need to influence every land everywhere in the world. Because our message is essential to every country, to every culture, to every human being. And that's why, no, we don't belong in any one particular land. We need to influence all the lands. So it's not enough to defend Israel. It's not enough to be defensive. We have to change the world. From Zion comes forth a Torah, which means very simply, if you want to know moral and from immoral, ask the people of Zion. Of that, there is no doubt, and it becomes more and more obvious every day.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point to finish on, because I have really felt like never before, the post-October 7th world, this has become so clear. The old ways of doing things, the old talking points of the Zionism movement, it's all fading away. It's becoming, truth and falsehood is becoming so clear, like never before. In some ways, I used to indulge some of the Palestinian narratives a bit, because I thought, well, maybe just as a temporary way we can indulge us a bit, find a way to make, and it's everything, what's going on underneath every single movement and cause, and the vacuousness of so many of the world's idols have become so clear, and to that I think it's a great step forward.
That is the good news. And it gets better every day.
It does. It really does. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.